Hello, me again. So I just wanted to go through a few of the things that they don't really tell you about surgery or after surgery, how you're going to feel or things that happen. I think the pain, they never really told me about the pain. I kind of thought I was going to be in pain anyway with the stitches, but it was just like constant tummy ache. It felt like afterbirth pains when you have a few children. After a few children, the first one you can kind of handle, and then as the more children you have, the after pains get worse. Yeah, and that was there for quite a while. But mine is also because I had the stitching being too tight, the pulling. When I laughed or when I tried to sit up, I had to hold that part area of my stomach that I didn't think was going to happen. Also, the sickness. I kind of knew about the dumping syndrome. If you eat things that the body disagrees with or with too much fat in, the dumping syndrome, the body just gets rid of it. But I didn't think you would be sick with everything. Like, to begin with, I was sick for a first couple of weeks quite a lot. Body couldn't take it in. I was constantly relying on anti-sickness pills for the first 5 to 6 weeks, I think. Yeah. And then afterwards, I was only sick or had loose bowels when I ate something that my body disagreed with. Weeks off work. So I was kind of in my head, I'll be fine. I'll have 2 weeks off work. I'll go back to work. After 2 weeks, because of my stomach and the pain, I needed an extra week. And then I had 2 weeks, the doctor signed me back for 2 weeks for like a phase return part-time because I was on pureed diet and it was because of no energy and stuff like that. So I didn't expect that to happen, and I thought it would be in work. I work most of the time I'm at a desk, not child facing, so I thought I'd be fine, but I wasn't. And then when I had surgery, so I had surgery in the hospital, it took a long time for the GP to action things. They weren't giving me my prescriptions. I had to send them my discharge letter and highlight all the stuff that they recommended, because the hospital did give me some to come back with, but after a few weeks I needed to contact the GP to replenish my stock. They didn't have anything. They didn't have all these notes from the hospital. Although when I had the letter, when I've had letters in the post, I could see that it was to me and to my surgery, but they was very, very slow. So I was then prodding them. I'm like, I've had surgery. This is what I need. This is my proof to try and get my medication. Hunger. So they do say, right, they sell right to top at the start of the surgery, before your surgery, you won't feel hunger. We take away part of it that makes you feel hunger pains. And that's true. That is true. For the first few months, I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to eat. But then afterwards, it wasn't hunger as such. I kept feeling empty and drained, like I needed to refuel because I had no energy. And that's the feeling I have now. It's been 4 months. And instead of having hunger pains, that's how I feel instead. They don't tell you about how thirsty you get. So between week 7 and week 11, I got very, very thirsty. I wasn't drinking enough. You're supposed to take in, I don't know, ideally they want 2 litres, but they try and say 1.5 litres. You can't do that and try and fit everything else in. My mouth was so dry, and so I was relying a lot on ice. I kept taking lots of ice, or ice poles. We made some Ribena, sugar-free ice poles, and for like 3 weeks it was a constant phase. So I was just going through loads and loads of ice. It was really hot as well though, because that was like in June time, so my body was obviously just dry. Constipation. So it does say sometimes about being constipated, but you're kind of always constipated because you're not getting in the stuff you need. It's either being constipated or eating the wrong foods and it's just going straight through you. So now I go to the toilet once every 3 to 4 days. Yeah, and sometimes I do need to use lactose to help because the movement's not there like it used to be. And just reading a list. So no support groups. So before surgery, they started a support group and I attended 2 lots of support sessions. After surgery, the day where I was released home, the next day I had a phone call from the nurse, and then a week after I had a phone call from the nurse, and then a month after I had a phone call from the nurse, and then that's kind of like a goodbye from her. And then at 8 weeks it was a dietitian, and at 3 months a dietitian. That's it. And there's so many things you go through. Like when my weight froze for a little while, I had no one to talk to. You don't know if it's normal or not, and there's no one you can reach out to. I've tried calling the hospital, leave a message. It's really hard to get hold of anyone. You just kind of feel like you're on your own. So yeah, my weight freeze. So about week 7, 8 mark, my weight froze for about 3 weeks. So in this time, after a week, I was like, you kind of lose hope, like would you do when you were having normal diets and you give up. So after the third week, I was just like, what's the point? I've gone through all of this and I'm not losing weight. What's the point? And I actually can't, sometimes when you get like that, you binge eat or whatever. I couldn't do anything like that because I couldn't eat. I can't hardly take any fuel. I couldn't take no food in. I had to eat certain food. So you have to stick to it and you have to follow it, even when you have the weight freeze. It just makes you feel low because you feel like you've gone through all of this and there's nothing, you can't get past that weight mark. Acid reflux. So for the first 3 months, the acid reflux is actually quite bad. They do give you some stuff to help you in the morning, but that didn't really help. I'm on month 4 now. It is better than it used to be, but it's still there. It's like back in the day, the only time I really got acid reflux is if I had a glass of wine, so I just avoided wine. But it's still there on certain foods like cheese. That makes me have acid reflux. You lose weight everywhere. So I can wear my wedding rings now because they fit. My fingers, I've lost weight. My shoes feel a bit looser. But the main thing I've noticed, I feel like I've lost all my weight off my boobs. My bras are huge. I have no boobs anymore. And I feel like that's where all my weight's gone. But yeah, you lose weight in random places. Low mood, you're ratty, you're irritable, hair loss. So I think I've already explained on one of my videos, it's way more than I expected it to be. There's loads of hair loss. And then obviously my spotty, dry, patchy skin. I rely more on makeup, foundation to try and hide it all. I know part of my mood and my low weight, my mood and my irritable, I know I've lost weight. I can see on the scales I've lost weight and my clothes are bigger. And my bras are definitely huge. I need to go down like 5 sizes. But I still feel the same. I still feel huge. I still get the pain in my knees. It's not really as bad, but my head can't get around it that I'm still huge. I even sat in at the doctor's surgery. I sat in the chairs. Now before I would stand and avoid those chairs because I know they've got arms, I can't fit in them, and I can fit in them. So I know all this, but I just can't tell my brain because I'm still thinking that I'm massive, and I still look in my mirror and I still feel huge. So the last thing is the hunger in your head. So you might not be hungry, but you've still got to battle. It doesn't really happen until like 3 month in, you battle with your head. So like snacks, I can follow that in the day. Food, I can follow that in the day. Come the evening, that's when the binging wants to happen. So I know that my snacks have got to be lower than 3%. I'm fully aware of that. But the evening, however, you just want to eat. And you've got that big gap where you've had your dinner, you try and hold on a snack till about 8 o'clock. If you're not going to bed until midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, depends on what kind of night it is, if you've got friends over, that's a real struggle. So it's trying to now get myself into my head. Like last night, I was like, I'm not really hungry. I know I'm not hungry. I'm just going to have some water. And I had, I don't know, about 200 mils of Ribena Light. But I don't want to fall back into old habits. And I felt myself reaching for the things like chocolate dips, or I have got some pink and whites and stuff, but you feel yourself going for the bad foods. So I'm quite lucky. I don't have too much here, or if I do, I buy kids stuff for the kids that I don't like, but you feel yourself going for that sort of stuff. And you know that you've got to keep your calories under, and I can keep my calories within 1,200, but it's choosing the right foods. And in the evenings, it's really hard because you're like, you want to pick on something. So now I've started to introduce walks in the evenings, and I've got a club that I'm going to where I'm going to do some painting with my daughter in the evening. So it's just keeping myself busy, because sitting there watching a film with her, and then she wants, I don't know, popcorn. I have got some little bags of popcorn that are under 3 grams, but your head doesn't feel like it's enough and you want to eat more. And it's retraining the head, because you know you physically can't eat more, or if you do eat more, you feel full. But it's retraining your head, because for all these years, I mean, for, I don't know, 25 years, even when I was younger, actually, when I was 13, 14, if I had an argument with my mum, she would go and buy a massive big bar of chocolate, or she would, to try and get me back that way, or, we don't ever say sorry, she'd buy me some food. Or mum, because she grew up hungry, she was a feeder, so if we ate everything on a plate, she would make sure that we had enough. And then obviously I had that little thing that happened when I was 13, and then my mindset was different, and I would punish myself. I've never been on antidepressants or anything, but food, that would be my go-to. food was what helped me feel better. And that's where my problem, and that's where my relationship happened with food. And that's the thing I've got to try, because it's mind over matter. And the last thing was sips. So you're supposed to take sips of water or sips of drink. In the first few months, that's easy because you can't take too much anyway. You physically feel ill. However, now I'm struggling, and so many times I forget and take a few gulps, and then I feel like it's going to come back up. It doesn't come back up, but you feel like it's going to come back up because you took too much in, and your body's just like being whooshed of all this fluid. That's something I've got to try and retrain my brain as well to do sips. But there are just a few things that you don't really think about before your surgery, and you've just got to, it'd be nice to have someone to talk to. It would have been nice if you had someone to actually, oh, did this happen to you? Did this happen to you? Or what might, like the hair loss, that's so much, and I really didn't expect it to be that much. It would have been nice to have someone to talk to relate to it, not just have them in the hospital say, yeah, you're going to expect hair loss, and it's going to be a bit similar to like when you're pregnant and your hormone changes. It's way worse than that. They didn't understand, which I get because they've not been through it. I mean, the people that are treating us, they haven't gone through surgery. They just get their information from us. But I do feel like it would have been nice to have a support group and someone to turn to. And that's probably my next appointment. I don't know when that's going to be. I think it might be 6 months. That might be something that I mention, because it'd be good for other people going through it to know what to expect.